Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about the anatomy of the stomach. Stomach is the most widest and the most distendable part of the GIT, and it connects the esophagus to the duodenum. So some of the functions of the stomach are: it serves as a reservoir of food, it produces hydrochloric acid which aids in digestion of proteins. It also produces an intrinsic factor that aids in absorption of vitamin B12. The location of the stomach. So the stomach is located in the upper left part of the abdomen, and it occupies three regions, that is the epigastric region, the left hypochondric region, and the umbilical region. Parts of the stomach. So the stomach has four parts, that is the cardiac part, the furthest part. At most time it is occupied by air. We have the body and we have the pyloric part. Also, the stomach has two curvatures. We have the greater curvature and we have the lesser curvature. And the stomach has two surfaces, that is the anterior surface and the posterior surface. The peritoneal relations of the stomach. The stomach is an interperitoneal organ, and it is covered by the peritoneal except where the blood vessels run along its curvatures, and the bare area of the stomach where it is related to the left crus of the diaphragm. So there are peritoneal folds that extend through the lesser curvature and the greater curvature, and they are as follows. So we have gastrophrenic ligament, as the word says, gastro, which means stomach, phrenic, which means diaphragm. It extends from the greater curvature of the stomach to the diaphragm. Gastrosplenic, just as the word says, gastro means stomach, splenic means spleen, from the greater curvature of the stomach to the spleen. And we have the greater omentum, which occupies the larger part of the greater curvature, which extends from the greater curvature of the stomach to the transverse colon. On the lesser curvature, we have the lesser omentum. The lesser omentum connects the lesser curvature, extends from the lesser curvature of the stomach to the liver, and it consists of hepatogastric ligament and hepatoduodenal ligament. We have the visceral relations. The visceral relations are divided into the anterior and the posterior relations. So the anterior part of the stomach is related to, we have the left part of the left lobe of the liver, we have the diaphragm, and we have it's related to the anterior abdominal wall. The posterior surface of the stomach is related to a number of structures which are found in the posterior abdominal cavity or wall, So these structures are, we have the diaphragm, we have the spleen, the left kidney, the left adrenal gland, the splenic artery, the body of the pancreas, the transverse mesocolon, transverse colon, and the left clonic flexure. The stomach has a rich arterial supply derived from the celiac trunk and its branches. So we have the left gastric artery, which is a direct branch from the celiac trunk. We have the left gastric artery, here is the left gastric artery, which is a branch of the common hepatic artery. We have the left epiploic artery, which is a branch of splenic artery. We have the right gastroepiploic artery, which is a branch of gastroduodenal artery, and we have short gastric arteries, which are branches of the splenic artery. The venous drainage of the stomach. So the veins of the stomach correspond to the arteries, and they drain directly or indirectly to the portal vein. They include the left gastric vein, the right gastric vein, short gastric veins, the left epiploic veins, and the right epiploic veins. So the left gastric vein and the right gastric vein, they drain directly to the portal vein. The short gastric veins and the left epiploic vein drain directly to the splenic vein, while the right gastroepiploic vein drain indirectly to the portal vein by draining to the superior mesenteric vein. Lymphatics. So the gastric lymphatic vessels travel along with the arteries along the greater curvature and the lesser curvature. They include the gastric nodes, the celiac nodes, the right gastroepiploic nodes, and the pancreatosplenic nodes. The efferents from these nodes drain into the celiac nodes, which in turn drain into the cisterna chyli through the intestinal lymph tract. Innervation of the stomach. The stomach is innervated both by sympathetic and parasympathetic. The sympathetic originates from T6 to T10 spinal segment, while the parasympathetic originates from left and right vagus nerve. So the postganglionic fibers of the sympathetic originate or arise from the celiac ganglion, while the postganglion of the parasympathetic arise from mesenteric and Meissner's plexus. So the action of sympathetic include vasomotor. They carry pain sensation, motor to the pyloric sphincter, inhibitory to the rest of the musculature, while the parasympathetic actions are secretomotor, carry sensations of hunger and nausea, inhibitory to the pyloric sphincter, and motor to the rest of the musculature. So these are differences between the sympathetic and parasympathetic innervation to the stomach. Gastric carcinoma or gastric cancer, it commonly occurs in the region of the pyloric antrum along the greater curvature of the stomach. So it is spread by the lymph vessel to the left supraclavicular lymph nodes, causing enlargement or palpable left supraclavicular lymph node, also called visceral nodes, and it may be the first sign of gastric cancer, that's the Toyer's sagging. So the cancerous cell reach the left supraclavicular lymph node through the thoracic duct. Gastric pain. As you remember, we said that the stomach is innervated by parasympathetic and the sympathetics. And the sympathetics originated from T6 and T10 spinal segments. And the sympathetics were responsible for carrying pain sensation. So gastric pain will be referred to the epigastric region because the stomach is supplied by T6 to T10. Vagotomy. So vagotomy is a type of surgery that removes all or part of the vagal trunk. So as you remember, we said that the stomach is innervated parasympathetic and sympathetic innervation. The sympathetic originated from the vagal nerve, and we said that the parasympathetic are responsible for the secretomotor. So the vagus nerve, they control largely the secretion of the acid by parietal cells. Therefore, vagotomy helps us to prevent excessive secretion of the acid, which is the main cause of peptic ulcers.